Hey backers and Amigans, Phil here from A500.net. I really hope you're all doing well. So I'm doing this very quick video to show you the current status of the Amiga 500 case 3D model status. So the model itself by now is already at more than 99.9%. In fact, the issue that we had recently was regarding the right side trapdoor and more precisely the RG45 expansion port. And this little guy there was really troublesome. So to overcome this issue, we had the idea to actually shift the RG45 connector and to put it in behind the case and replace it on the trapdoor with the HDMI out. So I'm going to show you this right now. Just prior to this, and before we begin, I'd like to inform you that we've expanded for 15 days the deadline. Let me show you the deadline on RMI v2. And the reason why now you can see that the deadline to select your reward options is 31st August is because we still have around 60 backers who did not select their colors. So guys, if you are currently watching this video right now, head over RMI v2, connect, and then select your colors, right? You just need to click on pledge and reward, and then you select your colors. If you have doubts on how to do this, go back to our previous campaign updates where we do have a video explaining you about how to log in and change your case color. Thank you guys. Yes, still 60 guys missing. Please do it right now. And but 31 August is the last final call. We cannot extend this anymore because we have to go ahead now. It's about time. Thank you so much, guys. So let's back. The 3D model that I'm going to show you right now isn't the final one, so there is still a couple things missing here and there, and the main one being the Amiga name on the case not present yet, but that's not really a big deal because we do have the models with our engineers. So let's see that. Let me shift the recording here, and here we go. So what you can see here is the 3D model by itself. That's the case right here, so let me send to that so that I can show you. So the software that I'm using, this is Cinema 4D, right? So some of you might actually know Cinema 4D. On the left side, we do have the left side trapdoor here. So that's the same left side trapdoor that you have on your Amiga 500 and Amiga 500 Plus. Nothing changed, that's the exact same and identical left side trapdoor. Of course, we do have the top shell with, okay, as I said, my model here is missing the Amiga name on it, but that's not really a big deal because the final version, of course, will have it. I think the engineers already inserted the Amiga brand on it. I just don't have it right now. So let's lift up the top shell. This is a very crude model that I have. Oh, sorry, I forgot to do something here. See, I'm so excited to show you these guys that I'm forgetting quite some options. Yes, so let's lift up this here, and as you can see, so this is a very crude version of a Raspberry Pi, like very quick schematic, right? And this is the Apollo V4 standalone, and here behind you can see mounts. So all the mounts that you can see on this case, actually, they are all threaded, right? It's all metal threads that you can see on all mounts. For the Amiga 500 case as well, of course. So no worry, you will be able to actually screw any device, Raspberry Pi and Apollo Vampire V4 standalone correctly without any big deal, because we do have mounts for this, and as you can see here, the mounts are corresponding perfectly. So these four here are for the Raspberry Pi 234, and these ones here are for, these ones here are for the Apollo V4. So yeah, that's it. So let's hide these little boards here. So that's it. Here we go. Of course, we do also have the bottom trapdoor. So what we did here is that we added vents. You know, we had that on the Amiga 1200 cases, so why not having these on the A500 cases, right? So just extra vents because, yeah, we can. So that's it. There is a couple differences that you can see right now compared between the original Amiga 500 case and ours. You can see there is like a trapdoor here, like a mount. This isn't finalized on my file, okay? So this is actually the RG45 output, but on my version of the file, this is quite crude here. And in a couple days from now, I will have the final version, and I will make another video for you guys to actually see, because you will not have any hole here. In fact, there is a trapdoor, and either you're using the RG45 port. If you're using it, so then the trapdoor is removed. If you are not using the trapdoor, if you are not using the RG45 expansion port, then actually this is closed by a trapdoor. So no big deal. The rear of the case here is slightly modified, but if you don't use the RG45 expansion port, everything here will be closed. So this happened here because we had, as I said before, to modify our right side trapdoor. So let me turn this again here, because I don't know why, but this is absolutely not. Come on here. Yeah. Perfect. So let's start and talk about this right side trapdoor. So you will have two trapdoors, one plain, and this plain trapdoor actually will sit here. Same as the left side trapdoor, which is here and up now. So what did I do, right? So let's lower this again here and put this right here again. Okay, we almost have it. Yes, that's it. Come here. Nice. Okay, so you have the original left side trapdoor, and now you have a new trapdoor on the right, and this one is plain. When the case is closed with your motherboard and everything inside, and when the left side and the right side trapdoors are locked into position, you don't see anything. It's perfectly smooth, and the right side trapdoor, the plain version, closes perfectly the case. So there is no big deal about that. Okay, so if you are a user and want to use your Amiga 500 as a real classic Amiga 500 without any extensions that are using USBs and RG45, HDMI, whatever, you do not need to use this part, and this will stay closed. However, if you intend to be a Vampire user or Raspberry Pi user, then you can actually remove the plain trapdoor, and you'll be able to place the new right side trapdoor with the ports in it. Here we go. So let me show you this, guys. It's around 1 AM in the morning here. I just took the time to make this quick video for you. To the campaign update, so that you can actually see the latest versions of this. So here it is. So let's say you are not using the plain trapdoor, right? And you are a Apollo Vampire enthusiast, or Raspberry Pi enthusiast, or maybe you are using another kind of device. So this is where you're going to plug your extension cables, right? So here sits the SD card. No, sorry. Here sits the SD card adapter. You have two USBs, and here lies the HDMI. So we actually I've asked our engineers lately to slightly make this a bit larger here, because we do not go all the way back, and then so that we can host SD card here and HDMI connector here. This is the new expansion trapdoor. So what happened, and why were we late on this trapdoor thing? Because it seems simple, right? I mean, there's no real big deal here, and yeah, you might actually ask yourself, hey, I don't understand why you guys lost 2 months and a half on that. Yeah, so here it is, and that's the reason why. That's this one here. That's the previous version. This is the previous version, right? We had this version. Oops, sorry again. Same issue. So we were working with this version for quite some time, and we developed and we designed the Amiga 500 case using this design here. And so far so good. Engineers are skilled in what they do, and they didn't really see any issue at the beginning about that. So even here it is a bit high. Yeah, you know, yeah, that's why simulations are for. So they designed the case, and it was like that. Let me show you. It was, yeah, a bit like that, in fact. Okay, so you had the RG45 port like this. Yes, it was like this. So you have the RG45 port, two USB and SD card, and the HDMI out should have been on the back, right? So what happened here? What was this issue? The issue is here. This part here is very thin, right? It's very thin. I mean, forget the yellow part of the case behind here. This was open here, so you didn't have any yellow part here. You didn't have the Amiga 500 part of the case here. It was open, making here a very thin bridge. Let me show you again. And that bridge here was actually very thin. However, you know, engineers, they are used to that. They do actually manufacture very thin parts like that. The main issue is that when we inject this part here, so the bottom shell of the case, it's one big piece, right? It's a one piece. It's not a small item only. It's a big piece of plastic. So when we inject and when they simulated the injection of the plastic in the molds to manufacture this big piece of plastic, the bottom shell of the Amiga 500 case, then we had pressure issues here. We could have done it, and we could have manufactured cases with this design here. However, we would have had issues at production time. Example, this part here would have been way more too fragile, but it's not only about that. It's because the pressure necessary would have been way too high for the kind of injection machine they have, and we would have needed a way more bigger machine just for our cases. And yes, this is a big trouble, in fact. So we had to go back to the drawing board, and then we decided to change the idea on that. And this is where this version comes, which is way more thin on the left side, as you can see, and the issue is gone. The issue is simply gone using this version. So yes, indeed, we lost around 2 months on that, but it's necessary. This is what happens when you are developing and designing a new case for the Amiga 500 computer, or Amiga 1200, or any computer or any device that you have to create a case for. So even you might say, yeah, but the Amiga 500 case, you know the design already, you already have everything. Yes, but actually it's still, even the Amiga 500 is 27 years old or 30 years old, it is still, this case is still a whole new design. So we do need to make attention and to take care of what we're doing. So this is the new right side trapdoor. Again, you are not obliged to use it if you don't want. If you don't want to use it, then you're just going to remove it and you just have to place the plain trapdoor. So that's not a big issue. About the right part of the case, so this is not exactly designed how it should be. My version is an old version of the case, but I did wanted to record this video for you guys tonight. So, as soon as I get the new version, a couple days, a week or so, I simply will do a new video about this part here for you guys. Since we're here, the other thing that I wanted to quickly see with you guys is the threads. So you already see here we have threaded mounts for the screws, right? And of course we do have the same for the top shell. So let me quickly see that for you. Where are you? You're here, and you're here, and let's quickly see that, right? So here you have the threads for the case itself. So no more, you know, like exactly the same as the Amiga 1200 case. And no more screwing in the in the void. No more issues with screws. You have it. It's here. Those are the threads here. So they are in the plastic shell. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This video was very quickly made. Hopefully everything's you got everything right. And anyway, a new video and a new added campaign update will be shared with you shortly. Thank you, guys, and see you soon. Bye bye.